Okay, I'm just going to quickly talk you through what the diastasis that you have is and some basic strategies to improve it and working out over time. So I'm not wearing this jacket because I haven't paid my heating bill. It's just to demonstrate what's going on with your diastasis. So if you think of the zip being the connective tissue through the center, that linea alba, the center of your top layer of abdominals, your rectus abdominals, which is the one that you traditionally think of with those six-pack muscles, they are under there somewhere. So if you think that's two lines there with the three ab muscles in each place and a connective tissue here, what's happened is due to interarticular pressure, abdominal pressure, it's split slightly and allowed some movement away. So whenever, because those muscles are responsible for that flexion, contracted flexion, whenever you do that, you're forcing them slightly wider. Now there are two other, or three other, you count the obliques as two different layers of abdominal muscles beneath that. Strengthening those can help force everything back in place a little bit, or just tighten up, because the transverse abdominals at the bottom, the orientation of the muscle fibers forces them this way. So you can imagine it's kind of like pushing that together, so it's realigning the rectus a little bit, which enables them to act accordingly. But it's not just a matter of strengthening those. You're a strong guy, and we've been working for months on strengthening these muscles. It's more also about the control and the correct firing patterns, that these muscles work in conjunction with each other, plus the glutes and some of those inner thigh muscles. They all should work in conjunction to enable you to provide that stability and prevent any extra movement. Because I think even daily tasks, I think getting out of bed, typically you'd be doing this, you're putting that pressure on. Sit to stand similarly. So, and you'll find day to day that doesn't really cause you a problem because you've got the strength to hold it in for the most part. But what happened, say last week, you've got a little bit deconditioned. We went quite ham with the exercises. So as you fatigue, you probably stop engaging correctly and controlling the movement, and you start to use excessive momentum. You start to forget about your breathing pattern, so you're allowing extra air underneath, which is increasing that abdominal pressure. Abdominal pressure forces more of a split, and then you move it, and that's why you've got that protrusion again following the exercises. Now, there's no exercise you automatically can't do. It's just a matter of can you control them when you do them. So even the ones that we know, for example, that type of movement that we know increases intra-abdominal pressure and is difficult to control, if you can work up to engaging those muscles correctly, you will be able to perform them. But it's really about monitoring, doing things slow and controlled rather than doing them excessively and using momentum and when you're tired. So it's developing that control and then building on that base of that control. So let me go through some first strategies that you should do all day, every day, pretty much as possible. So the first is just learning to engage those muscles. So in standing, it's quite easy. You can imagine good posture helps. So shoulder blades up and down, but keeping that rib cage from flaring up and out. So you're keeping that down, so those rectus abdominals are engaged. Squeeze in here from the belly button. You can use your hand for tactile feedback. So around your belly button, you might have to push in through any layers of soft tissue just to feel those muscles engaging. And all you need to do is, with your breathing, breathe out as you contract. Feel the muscle engaged, hold. You should actually be able to breathe in and out while keeping that hold. And we're going to do 10-second holds with that engaged, and then relax. Do the exercise, bracing, almost like you imagine someone's about to strike you and you're bracing to absorb that punch. So you should feel it engaging, your rib cage is there. You're going to just do 10-second holds throughout the day, as much as possible as you can consciously think of that. And that's going to help you learn that mind-muscle connection, that control of your body, get the muscles firing. So what you're looking to do is engage the transverse abdominals at the bottom, so they're pulling inwards. Your obliques are engaging, so you should feel a bit of solidness there, and you're obviously still contracting your recti, but you're not allowing them to engage outwards. So throughout the day you do that. Similarly in sitting, so when you're at your desk, don't simply slump and have that completely passive. As much as possible, really it should be throughout the day, but if you think about them, whenever you've got conscious thoughts to start with until it becomes second nature. Upright, so shoulders back. Imagine there's like you're being pulled upwards by a rope, so you're engaged here. Don't let your abs until your ribs flare outwards. Engage, and you just, until you learn to feel the engagement without using your hands, just push through that stomach around your belly button, feel that you're engaging your abs, and you can hold it for 5 seconds, then you can hold it for 10 seconds before you relax. Don't slump, just keep doing that throughout the day. I know you're going to be busy doing whatever work you need to do and whatever else, so it's not going to be consciously thinking about it all day, every day, but the more you do it, the more you develop those motor patterns, the more it becomes second nature, the more you're always engaging. Same with when you're standing. If you imagine if you're reaching or twisting, you're going to put into abdominal pressure that forces that outwards, so it will become second nature after you physically brace to do these things, like you're absorbing a punch. That becomes more second nature. You hold it all together. The more it's there, it's almost like when you've got a stitch and it's being stapled, so it can actually regrow itself. Now, if we were in the clinic, the first type of exercise we would do would be on a stability ball, like one of those Swiss exercise balls. If you don't have one at home, that's fine. You can use a chair. What you don't want is to set the base support from the back of the chair. So if you've got something better than this, hopefully a stool, you want to be forward, so your back is unsupported and your abs and those multifidus muscles at the back are having to work to engage. Up, engage as we talked about, and then more challenging is we're going to look at, can you reach out, 2 hands, and then 1 hand. So with the 2 hands, you have to physically feel yourself still holding that engagement, because what you'll find is it becomes more and more challenging to hold that muscles engaged as you come out. So it's very similar to the Pilates, but without the resistance. Out, you're going to do 10 of those, and then 10 here, and you can use the other hand to physically feel that you're keeping those muscles engaged. 1, so 10 each side, 10 double, all the while trying to keep that engaged. To make that more challenging, take the TheraBand, wrap it around your back, 1 end in each hand, and we're just double, engage, brace, upright, breathe in, so breathe out with effort. So before you start, deep breath in, engage the muscles. Important to exhale whenever you do effort, because the effort in itself is going to cause tension, and any extra air in there is going to increase the abdominal pressure, which is more likely to cause separation. So as you exert yourself, you breathe out, you empty the air from the diaphragm, decrease the pressure in the abdominals, safer to do the exercise. So brace, brace, 10 of those, and then for further feedback to make sure you are keeping the engagement, use the other hand, engage, upright, deep breath in, hold the engagement, make sure you're not losing that abdominal engagement as you push out. If you feel that you are, just stop the exercise, reset and go again. 10 times with the right arm, 10 times with the left. So total, you're going to do 30 reps of that exercise with the band, and only move on to that when you're pretty confident doing them single hand. I think because you've done the Pilates on the Reformer, you'll be pretty much ready to do that straight away, but do go through the motions of doing them, simply engaging with no movement, engaging with no resistance, just to make sure you haven't lost that mind muscle connection and you're keeping that engaged, because without that, all the exercises are built off that foundation. So if you're not keeping that basic engagement, you're putting yourself under pressure and causing more of a split. Similarly, engage here, you're going to then use your legs. So nice and upright, the same, lifting 10 times, 10 times this side, keep breathing as normal. So then you're going to lift and extend. So all the while making sure you can keep that engagement, keep breathing. If you want to progress that further, you can combine the movement, so right arm, left leg, etc. 10 of these, just keep playing around with that. Do that whenever you want throughout the day. It's not a challenging exercise by any means, it's just a matter of recruitment, activation, so you're holding those muscles, engaging those muscles, and then keeping it engaged, so it's the control to allow movement away from the core as you're keeping the core braced. And it's just training you for all movements throughout the day, everyday life. So the more you do that, the more that will become second nature. So it's just a recruitment exercise. It's not physically challenging, but it's mentally, so to speak. So it's the control of the mind over the body that you need to work on. Next set of exercises, laying down in supine or crook position with your knees bent. So you're just going to think about what's going on here. Tilting the pelvis towards you, flattening the back into the surface and engaging the muscles. Again, so all you're going to do is work on engaging those muscles. Feel the transverse abdominal, the deepest muscles, wrapping inwards like a corset really, so they're squeezing everything tight. Keep your head down so you don't increase abdominal pressure, and engage. You're going to do 10 tilts and relax. Tilt, hold for 10 seconds and relax. Use your hands to feel that those muscles are solid underneath any soft tissues, and that you can hold them for all the 10 seconds before you relax. Engage, feel that, feel the obliques on the side and make sure they're engaged too. All that is providing the core stability. It's not just a matter of keeping them strong, they probably already are strong to be honest, it's getting them to work together in the correct fashion, having that control. You also need to work on things in more detail like the control of the diaphragm, control of the muscles at the back there. They should work in harmony, but we'll get to that. We can challenge ourselves with exercises that you think may be problematic, but as long as you do them correctly, they're actually strengthening. So the next thing from here, we're going to do crunches, although, you know, it kind of contradicts what we said earlier about putting that pressure on that separates. But we're going to use a blanket, wrap around your back, cross over, one in each hand. So you want it to in the small of your back, and you're putting a fair amount of pressure outwards, so it's acting like a corset to pull your rectus abdominal together, so it's putting them in the correct alignment before we load them. So from that position, feel it tight, not painful, just tight. Engage the lower abs as you did before. Deep breath in. Then as you breathe out, you're going to just lift your head and shoulders up. So feel the engagement through here. Don't lose the pressure here, that's keeping everything tightly aligned. Stopping the separation. And then back down. Deep breath in. Treat every set for now, every rep for now, like it was the first rep. So it's quality over quantity. We're looking to do 25 to 50. So it's quite an important exercise and it's quite time consuming. But every one should be as good as the first. If you lose the tension here, if you don't exhale correctly and let the pressure build up, if you don't control the movement, start using excessive momentum, you're going to be causing more damage and reinforcing the problem rather than fixing the problem. So every rep should be perfect. Roll up, breathe out at the same time. Keep that engagement. You're looking to do 25 of those, you're looking to do 50 of those really. But if at any time you feel you're losing the ability to engage the muscles correctly, you can either get Joe to come and feel the bottom or work on the mind muscle so you know that it's engaged. And you can feel if you lose it, and you can feel if you're losing the pelvic position. Prior to that, if you're not sure you're ready, you can do simple movements similar to the arm on the chair engaged. So keep it engaged. Can you move the leg outwards? Can you drop the leg outwards and keep that engaged? That's testing that you can keep the stability centrally while allowing mobility away from the centre. Look at your range, same thing, you keep that engaged and slide up. These are all tests to do before you go into the heavy loading, that you can, similar to in the chair, keep the engagement as you move the leg, as you drop out the leg. If you can keep that and not lose it, you'll be ready to do the crunches there. So the first set, or the ones I just went over, are the recruitment and can you hold, and then if you can do that, you can load it in that way. Another slightly more risky one, but it's safe to do as long as you don't over push it. Imagine you need to be looking at the belly to make sure you're not getting that dome in, but you need to control in, keep it flat, and you're going to lift your legs into tabletop. Hold a mirror, small mirror, that you can angle down to look at your stomach, or just get Joe or one of the kids to come and assess that it's not doming, because as soon as it domes, you quit. You should be able to engage to prevent the doming from happening, so you're controlling it, you're like closing it up and stopping the protrusion with your abdominal strength from there. So I would have a mirror to look down at, and then can I then lower one leg, keeping it engaged the whole time. Breathe out as you lower, because that's the exertion, so and then up, and then up. And it's all about you holding that effort here, preventing the protrusion, because you're closing the gap with your abdominal engagement, but still allowing the movement. So do as many of those as you can to stop any time you lose that control. You'll find that you'll be able to do more and more and more over time, and we can use all these exercises. Once you can do this fundamental base, you can do any of the Pilates exercises as long as you slow them down, think about what you're doing. Same in this position. Engaging is like you're trying to pull your stomach, your belly button up towards the back of your spine. So from that position, engage, breathe out. You can do donkey kicks. That's going to strengthen the glutes, which is important too, and also that back muscle, that multifidus and the recti spinal we mentioned. So engage, breathe out, hold there. Get one of the kids to come. Feel that you're not losing engagement. You're not letting the spine twist. You've got to keep a neutral spine. For planks, hold 5 seconds. Never lose your belly, shouldn't drop down. Spine should stay neutral, you shouldn't drop here. And you're going to do 5 second, 10 second holds there. Same with 10 each way that way. Mix them in and about. So that's just going to get you to be able to do full planks. Side planks are important too for the obliques. Elbow through here, push down through the point of your elbow to stabilize your shoulder. Start with the half side planks. You're just going to engage here. As we've done in previous videos, you're lifting here to engage that glute medius, but all the while you should be able to feel that this muscle is engaged again, so draw back. Same way like you're absorbing a punch, never lose that. Use this hand to feel that around your belly button, you're pushing, those muscles are engaged. Hold, engage. Okay, back to the standing. We're going to do some resisting of rotation. So if you come around here, using your TheraBand, tie it to the door. You have in the outside hand here, this hand just interlinking. If it was a loop, you could interlink like that. I'm just going to hold it. It should be close to your stomach. Now there's no resistance in this position, but as you step away, the resistance of the band is pulling you into that rotation. You're engaging again like you're trying to absorb a punch. So you're drawing your tummy back and towards you, engaging here. As you pull out, you're resisting the rotation, just holding it there. And then you're going to actively, through concentric movements, you're going to rotate back and forward now, keeping the engagement here the whole time. So here, 10, so out, in, back to center. That's 1 rep. And you shouldn't lose that. You should feel that you're not losing that. If you need to at first have someone touching your belly the whole way so they can tell you if you've lost it. Out. And remember the breathing is if you can't do that, then just practice holding it here. So if you come to the side, the other movement, 10 of those rotations outward, step out into resistance. Holding it close to you is easy, pushing outwards, that's putting the tension on. Hold for 5 seconds, slowly back. Feel that's engaging down in the tummy. Don't let loose, don't just use your arm strength, because if you do lose that engagement, then the pressure from the band pulling you that way is going to cause a separation. So only move on to these when you really feel that you've got a good control and ability to hold that there. So that's all the exercises we'll do for now. Do them before Pilates on Thursday, and we'll build on that, and we'll do some more videos and more exercises that you can do day to day. So these ones, the ones sitting on a chair, standing, all day, every day, as much as you can, consciously engaging, working on engaging and breathing and moving still. And then the exercise is once per day. So it's only 1 day today, and then tomorrow morning, and then we'll do Pilates in the afternoon with feedback, how you're getting on with them, and building it from there. All right, good luck.